Hi, my name's Christopher Uraki, work for Renew Contracting, a site supervisor. Jim Conquest brought this idea to our attention, and right when he said it was about 9/11, kind of jumped at it and started going over ideas.
Michael Vandenberg, president of Renew Contracting. Whenever we're asked to build a memorial, we take it very serious. We really want to make sure that we capture what the message is of each particular memorial. In this one in particular, 9/11.
And that's when we brought in Mark to start designing. We wanted to incorporate everything possible into this project and make it as special as possible for the Brentwood community.
My name is Mark Daniel Papalardi. I have a company called Mark Daniel Landscape Design. I've had some experience designing some memorials in the past, but this one in particular was very special to me. My first impression was that I felt like we had a great space to work with. So I did a lot of research and I developed the concept that we have here. When designing the space, I really wanted it to be a cohesive space with 3 separate elements to it. I started with the movement throughout the space. The decision to have the first responders row come in. Its racing lines symbolize the many agencies and vehicles that answer the call without hesitation. When I first saw the beams as they were sitting there, they were laid out horizontally. I felt like they weren't being honored maybe in the way that they could have been. So I wanted to prop them up, and I knew that with that, we were gonna have, a central element. And that central element became the hand of a clock. And the way that I oriented the axis of the clock was to orient the viewer, if you're standing at the 6 on the clock, so that we actually look at the Twin Towers from that 6. So that was the axis. The progressive wave of blue formed by bluestone blend pavers symbolizes the reverberating impact of 9/11 across the globe. The light fixtures were there to kind of lead you down the path and sort of hold your hand as you walk down that path. And there's a bit of comfort there, knowing that the light fixtures were bollards that were strong and by your side, the whole way. The boxwoods that line the space along the perimeter, they were used symbolically as persons lost that sort of protect and onlook the space looking inward. This way, I felt like it wasn't going to be only a somber remembrance of the space, but also an uplifting remembrance of the space.
To be part of something that's remembering 9/11 and all the first responders and the unselfishness of all of the first responders, it's really important to me. So I was very honored to be a part of this project. Every single detail of this project was thought about and coordinated. Things that you don't see, like drainage. We have, I think it's 7 or 8 drainage basins. There was 1 original. The amount of soil that we brought out. We brought out 300 yards of soil from that courtyard through a little 8-foot wide hallway. We have a foot of gravel for drainage inside that courtyard. So it was pretty extensive what we did that nobody would ever see, but we wanted this to be able to last forever. The flagpole was donated from Branch Services. Branch Services thought it was really important to get involved and dedicate a flagpole. Pretty much everything in there, it's a low maintenance plan. There's synthetic turf, artificial mulch. The mulch is all rubber mulch. The plantings are all individually planted inside their own container that's buried 2 feet into the ground. It'll be a longer lasting courtyard and memorial for everyone to enjoy.
I think that the space is going to evoke a sense of pride with the school. I don't know of any other schools that have such a distinct memorial space.
I really hope that now that the memorial's done, the staff, faculty, the students, especially, take some time and go out there and reflect on what it was like for the kids to be alive that day. They were not even alive that day, but what it would have been like.
It's important to remember the selfless acts of the people around us. And many Americans are first responders jumping at the drop of a dime to go help someone else in need. And They did it all just for the greater good. And we should remember that, and the students will remember that every time they walk by.
I think the space promotes curiosity and learning for students, and maybe they'll start asking questions like, why are those steel beams in that position? Why are there some times? What are these times listed here around?
There's no better learning tool to teach these kids about 9/11 than there is that memorial. You know, it's so much more than just reading a textbook and talking about that day, when you could walk them out and touch a piece of steel from there and understand why that steel is set in that position. It's such an amazing learning tool, and I bet you that there's going to be dozens of kids that will look at 9/11 a little bit different now because the memorial's there.
I want them to be curious. I want them to be interested. I want them to look at the space and really want to understand what the meaning was behind a lot of it.
Hopefully passing by this memorial every day for these students, even though they didn't experience what actually happened that morning of 9/11, it'll teach them to be strong, to be caring.
Eventually we're going to lose those firsthand accounts, and what we'll have left is the symbolism.
You know, I really just want to thank Brentwood, you know, the board, the administration, the staff, for allowing us to build this project.
Thank you is really what I wanted to say. You know, thank you for allowing me to be involved in this project.
I'm proud to be a part of it. God bless the USA, and God bless Brentwood.